Last Christmas I gave you my heart, and the very next day you gave it a... Hey, look! Someone left a present! And it's for me! Huh, I wonder who it's from. Oh my gosh, it's what I always wanted! My very own spoon! It's a Christmas miracle! Merry Christmas, Tambo. Whoa! Hey, that's even better! But, how am I gonna eat my soup now? Oh. Looks like I got something. I wonder what it is. Oh, that's cute. Well, I guess it's been kind of a trying year. Oh. Happy holidays, everyone, and it's time to celebrate with the best holiday tradition that we know. Have a nice hot cup of cocoa, sitting back in the warmth of your own home, and reminisce about all the dumb movies that are coming out in theaters this time of the year.
These past few years, the holiday tradition has lately been a trip to the theater to watch the latest chapter of the Hobbit movies, which I assume is at part 19 or something. While I have read the book as a kid, it was good to refresh my memory as the blockbuster movies, though I assume some details are still a bit fuzzy. That is to say, I think I've seen the movies. I mean, sitting in a theater for so long, I've kinda nodded off a few times during some extended scenes. I even resorted to watching the animated Rankin Bass version to bring me up to speed. And after about 15 minutes of that, I put down the screwdriver and thought I'd try out the 2003 Hobbit video game for PS2 and GameCube, which touts itself to be the official prequel to the Lord of the Ring movies.
So forget all those 6-hour movies, this is where the true story is told. So let's pop this in and see what we're in for.
Right off the bat, despite being the official sequel to Lord of the Rings trilogy, you'll notice the style is slightly different. I don't honestly want to poke too much fun at the artwork of this game, but some of the story sequence held some really interesting visual moments. Not to mention, the cover also makes our protagonist kind of look like the killer from Child's Play.
Where am I? Goblins attacking men and elves!
Oh hey, spoilers, I didn't think we'd be falling into the end of the third movie already.
It was just a dream. Just a dream.
We start off in the Shire, where you play as Dilbo Daggins, the Bobbit of Hill Valley, New Zealand, and you're ordered by the local wizard, Doc, to go back to the future and keep your kids from getting killed by the local bully, Astaroth.
You may have to excuse me, as I might pronounce some of these names incorrectly here and there. I mean, I haven't really been to a Renaissance fair in about 15 years.
After you collect your walking stick, which happens to be your first main weapon, which you apparently can't live without according to the wizard Dangolf here.
Find your walking stick.
You explore the Shire to talk to the other Hobbins and look for stuff and collect things and stuff. Being a Sierra game, I'm really not too surprised to see these kind of elements being brought into play. I mean, it's alright, it's not too difficult to figure out the tasks and such given to you by the random townspeople of Riverdale Glen.
I seem to have lost my quilting needle. Fetch my butter churn, please.
I'm hungry.
I could fix it, but I'll need my hammer and nails.
Okay, the bridge is clearly out, but I can totally walk across the river no problem. Look, it's only knee deep. The dwarves are right there. Really? I can't just jump over a fence? Ugh.
I could fix it, but I'll need my hammer.
Yeah, get used to this, folks. There will be a lot of needlessly necessary tasks in order to proceed. Despite the fact that there are optional ones, trust me, once you're done with the shear, this optional task icon is gonna mean jack. Scattered heard about are crystals known as courage points, which will be necessary to gain more health once you fill up the courage gauge. Think of this as your EXP for the rest of the game, as they will be necessary to gain more health and you're gonna need it.
What's this? My pocket has sprouted a hole. Oh, my silver pennies must be scattered all over Hobbiton.
There also seems to be a bunch of money lying around, which will be crucial since after every chapter, you'll head into a shop of some kind to buy off potions, antidotes, keys, and other things.
Hey, Bilbo! Wanna play some hide and seek?
I can't play right now, kids. You see, I'm in a hurry to—
We'll go hide. You seek. Ready? Go!
Alright, well, excuse me, Dumbledore. I gotta take a moment to play hide and seek with a bunch of furry-footed Burrower children. The fate of the dwarves will just have to wait. Now, the further I've ventured into the game, the more I've begun to truly understand what makes this very difficult to play. It's not the controls. I mean, they could be a little awkward at times, and the camera will suddenly decide to throw you off during a complicated jump. And it's certainly not the lack of things to do. Heck, there's a ton to explore within each stage if you really want to start collecting all the courage points, coins, and treasure whatnot splayed across this medieval world. No, it's the save points. My god. These save points. Let me just display this scenario to you here. I went around the town collecting stuff, gathering as much money as I could, and even managed to clear some side quests. Then all of a sudden— I found myself all the way back to the pillar I last saved at, with all the quests and stuff I collected for the past 30 minutes completely gone. It's almost like putting a bookmark in a novel, but you continue to read on for a few 15 or so pages. But then you decide to close the book and suddenly remember, oh crap, I forgot to put the bookmark in that spot. So you just go to where the bookmark was last and read on all over again. And these aren't even simple checkpoints. No, they're serious about using these save points as often as you can. A normal game would often create different save points or even automatic save states while you're playing, so that when you do die, you can just go back to the last checkpoint and not have to worry about all this stuff you either lost or collected. I guess in a way, they were trying to make this more like a role-playing game, in the sense that even if you die and lose all your potions and stuff, you'll still go back to the save point and try it all over again from scratch. But it takes about 2 or so full minutes just to save it all. This screen is going to be the most memorable screen in the entire game, just for the fact that you have to do it so much. Even after a chapter ends, you have to save, or else if you die after that lengthy story, it'll literally load you back to the last save point in the previous stage, complete with loading screen, where you even have to fight the boss again, or even watch that cutscene all over again. Then, loading again, back to the stage you died at. This game is an extended cut of my patience wearing thinner and thinner each time.
I loathe this game entirely.
Actually, that's not true. It's a decent platforming title so far, but yeah, these save points are like the ring wraiths of my sanity.
With that said, let's talk about the rest of the story, as it does follow the tale of the Hobbit rather well in game form.
You meet up with your fellow dwarven travelers, which include, if I'm not mistaken, are Philly, Killy, Ballin, Fallin, Darwin, Boing, Doing, Ping Pong, Whoop-de-Frank, Dopey, Sleazy, Sneepy, Clappy, Surly, Gimply, Legolas, Gibble, Gobble, Hooble, and Hay. And let's not forget the king of them all, Dorkin of Shield, whom outside of the movies is always depicted as this old grayed-out baldy. We all know his true appearance thanks to Dwarf Beat Monthly. He's the handsome one.
Oh my god, like, Thorin's beard is, like, so cute.
If the book is to be followed, as they venture along, they all meet up with a group of ugly trolls named Tom, Bill, and Bert. The only normal named characters in this world, I presume. Not to mention, this guy looks like Shrek doing Pilates. This is where a huge factor in most of the gameplay is held. Stealth.
Colonel Gandalf, I've reached enemy grounds. There seems to be a group of security trolls here.
Excellent, Snape. Sneak past them and avoid being seen. Infiltrate the enemy cave and destroy Metal Ring.
Wait a minute. Why do I gotta do this? I mean, come to think of it, isn't it a little strange that you just came to my village and picked me out at random for this mission? I'm not even a trained burglar.
Well, to be honest, me and the dwarves just kinda got high and thought it'd be pretty funny, you know?
Look, I'll still do this mission, but I want something good out of it.
Sure, man. Whatever. Look, I'm really baked right now. When you get back, can you bring some berries or something?
Sneaking past these guys requires holding down the L1 button, which took me a few tries to figure out, as getting caught tends to be fairly easy. Hope you saved your progress. At one point, you even have to sneak past a troll with the longest yawn in gaming history. I can only imagine what this yawn would be like in the extended cut. Next is the Troll Caves, where you meet Lyanna.
It's an elf! Oh, and she's hurt!
Help me.
Whom is neither in the books nor the movies. Yes, she was simply made for the game, and this game only.
Help me.
Okay, well I guess if we're gonna take some creative liberties, it might as well be an elf, who accidentally got poisoned while venturing into a cave and is not awesome or badass in any way.
Help me.
It has to be helped by a hobbit with a walking stick. Good job. Speaking of extras, throughout your journeys, you'll run into treasure chests of all kinds, many of which need to be opened by a series of random timed button presses. This is where your keys will get in handy, because if you screw up, depending on the chest you get, can either poison you or hurt you just because you didn't do it correctly in time.
Help me.
Moving on, once you exit the caves, Bimbo Scuggins finds his main weapon of the game, the magical glowing sword simply known as Phil Collins. Oh wait, is it Aerosmith? Sting! It's Sting. This is a Sting joke. See? Ah, crap, I ruined it. I'm sorry.
Why don't you go help Boofer? Leave me alone.
Man, these dwarves are useless. So unlike their movie counterparts. At least we get to see them actually fight and fend off enemies from time to time. Or like the animated counterparts that just keep getting captured and stuff. I guess that's closer to the book anyway. These next stages are a pain. Jumping off cliff to cliff while avoiding rock people throwing giant boulders. Then you go deep into a cave where you have to find stuff just to progress. Oh, and the Goblin Caves. I mean, they could make 2 movies on the Goblin Caves alone. The movies are starting to sound a little bit more of an easy sit-through. I mean, given all the tasks, the exploring, the sheer amount of extra platforming you have to trek, and the amount of times I have to save my state just to make sure I don't have to venture around for 5 hours again? Peter Jackson, man, please, have mercy. Well, thankfully there isn't some sort of game element with the scene with Gollum. I mean, as much as I like the character, it's kinda hard to transition from hearing this
Loses precious, they will eat it.
to this to this. Man, sometimes I kind of feel bad for the guy. He goes through so much only to end up in a lake of lava. I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames got higher. And it burns us, burns us, burns us. The ring of power. The ring of power. Anyway, now that you got the ring, adding a new element to the game, invisible stealth. Though in this damn stage it doesn't even work, so what's the point? It's occurred to me at this point, you start to realize that your combat skills are much to be desired. You gain special abilities by the use of scrolls throughout the game, but they really don't do that much. I mean, sometimes the game doesn't even respond to my button presses, and I feel like it's intentional. You see, when you lock onto an enemy, you start to strafe around really slowly. Meanwhile, these guys can just gang up and dogpile on you in a second. And these spiders, oh man, these spiders! The mere touch will send you to a poisoned state, and once you cure yourself with an antidote, they just come right back and bite you again! At the end of the Spider Woods, you have to save your useless dwarven friends, and they don't even stop to help you fight off not 1, not 2, but 3 giant spiders, each of which I have to fight off in a different way. I was so lucky that I managed to do this in one go-round, because it was quite a while since I saved at this point. Well, you already heard that story.
Well, it's not worth it because soon afterwards they get caught. Again. This time by wood elves. Good God, why is Wizbo saving their kingdom again?
The Elf Kingdom is where the ring powers truly start to shine. You get to sneak past things easier, and it just takes forever to finish the stage because there's so much to do at once. But once I save the dwarves, again, we barrel on over to the fishing town.
You certainly are a curious-looking creature.
Well, I could say the same of you.
Which might as well be a town in Professor Layton's game because, you guessed it, puzzles. And you know what? I'm so mad about this stage, I'm not even gonna give it some recognition. I won't talk about the fact that Bard tells me to help him find a thief that leads me to a warehouse, that leads me to a bunch of trolls, that leads me to a bar of drunks, that lead me to another warehouse, that leads me to an old guy that wants a golden knife, and a bunch of bottles that lead to a puzzle that unlocks a hidden passage under the bar that leads to another puzzle with another puzzle right afterwards that leads to a bunch of thieves that lead to nothing.
Good luck on the mountain, and perhaps one day we'll meet again.
Nothing at all! Nothing at all! Nothing at all! Alright, enough of that mess. We finally reached the mountain in which Smaug resides.
Smaug.
Where again, the dwarves do nothing, and Dibble-Do-Duggins needs to sneak through the Golden Hall to get the, I don't know, Cup of Eternal Life from Indiana Jones or something. I have to say, after all this trudging through the caves and woods, being constantly bombarded by cheating goblins and spiders, I'm actually fairly impressed with this stage. The entire time you're met with a very foreboding feeling as you carefully walk across the pillars, while only the sound of heavy breathing is heard. Once you accomplish that, you have to do it all again, this time while Smaug is awake, using a ring of power to bypass the security system.
Come into the light, where I can get a look at you.
But yeah, it ends there for me. Smaug flies off, attacks the fish town, but is easily taken down by just a black arrow to the open spot on his chest, leaving the dwarves within and yada yada yada.
Yeah, it seriously just ends there for me, because not moments afterwards, you are still following orders from these useless dwarves.
We are all at your service.
You want me to whistle while I work? Work on this, Doc.
What an adventure!
But you know, it's pretty much done anyway. I mean, I could end this entire game with an enormous 5-hour war scene like the movies will probably portray, but it pretty much just ends with, okay, spoilers. Everyone dies. Except Pill-Poo and Granddad, and they live. Oh, and Gimli, whatever. But yeah, that's The Hobbit. And you know what? The game is actually not that bad. And that's really hard for me to say because the only thing keeping it from actually being playable is the constant game-stopping save points. They seriously just ruined the entire experience. If maybe, just maybe, there were checkpoints instead, I would have recommended this. But yeah, that's about it. It's not at all a bad attempt at an adaptation of a beloved fairy tale, filled with its own fair share of memorable portions, and even a few additions that weren't in the book or movies. I like it for being its own thing, and not following much of the movie's style of visuals and storytelling that came out at around the same time. It's a shame, really. Now, I have been playing the PS2 version, but I can't really say for certain the GameCube or PC versions are any different. And if they are, heck, go to town.
But as for me, I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, super excellent Kwanzaa, or whatever holiday that you may celebrate this year. Thank you so much for being a part of my life, as I really hope in some way that I've been a part of yours. So here's to the new year. Peace on earth, and stay excellent to one another.
Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and thank you for liking and subscribing. You're really helping me keep going. Helping spread my videos around does ensure more videos in the future. Check out some other videos and follow the links in the description below to see more electronic heroes. And make sure to check out the Patreon page to further help to support the show. See you next year.